Hello, everybody. I'm excited today because we're learning about Google Sheets, which is tremendously easier and more fun to use, in my opinion, than it is to calculate everything by hand. So that's going to be pretty liberating for us to be able to quickly and easily calculate averages, medians, modes, make graphs, all that stuff right here on our computer with a couple of clicks. So what we're trying to do is we're trying to figure out how big that unknown metal part was. And you can see you have period 2 data right here. You'll have your data set for whatever class you're in or whatever data you're trying to analyze. I'm going to use, this is period 2. This is the one you're going to use. I'm actually not going to use this data. I'm going to go right over here to practice data, which you guys also have access to, so you can check your work, check your answers if you want to practice things. If you want to just go ahead and analyze your data straight away, that's fine too. Also, keep in mind you got to fill out some of these thinking questions, and then ultimately you got to make a decision on how big the wheel is, right? And then you got to write a little bit of an essay, a short write-up, with some evidence justifying the claim, telling you, explaining to me why you think it's that big, and supporting that with evidence from your data. So anyways, let's jump in. Here's the practice data. This is the one I'm going to analyze. And the number one thing you want to do when you open a new set of data is I like to make a copy of it. So I'm just going to highlight everything. I'm going to go to edit copy. It actually works. Sometimes it tells you got to use Control C. So if you need to do that, you can. Then I'm going to click this plus sign right over here, and I'm just going to hit Control V to paste it right there. Now this one, notice I named it original. This one I'm going to leave unnamed. Now I have a copy of my data here. I can feel free to do whatever I want to this one without losing anything, because I can always go back to the original and see what was there. Okay, so a couple of features that are nice about Google Sheets. The first thing is sorting. If you highlight something and you go to data, and then you can sort either the entire sheet or sort range. Right here you can check out what those different things do. There you go. So I sorted it from low to high. I'm just going to go ahead and delete that size now. No need to have it. So you can see, all right, I got my low point right there. I have my high point right there. It seems to have ordered it for us. So now just looking at the data, it seems like a lot of the data is right here around the 3.4 range. So I'm thinking maybe my part size is going to be somewhere in that range, 3.4 something. I don't know exactly what yet. We're going to use some more analysis to try to figure that out. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to calculate the mean, median, mode, standard deviation of the data. To do this, so now what you need to do when you're calculating these things is you need to use a function. First thing you're going to do is type an equal sign. This alerts the computer that you're not entering data, but rather you're asking it to calculate something. So you type the equal sign. Then for mean, the function you call is actually average. You're going to click average right there. Average, there's a few different options for how you want to average. So now we're saying, okay, we want to take an average. Now we highlight what we want to take the average of. You want to highlight all those data points right there. There we go, and there's our mean. We can do median equals median. There you go, you can choose it. It gives you your parenthesis for you. You can highlight all those. Be careful not to highlight the mean in your median calculation, right? Just highlight your data. There we go, mode. I'll let you try to figure that one out, and then we can do standard deviation, STD, EV, right there. There's a few different ways to calculate standard deviation. Again, I just go for the basic one. There you go, you can see your standard deviation. So we can see that our mean is 3.52 and our standard deviation is 0.24. Now this is a little surprising to me. I figured the mean would be somewhere in the 3.4, right? You look at all this data, it's like 3.4, 3.4, all of it's 3.4. So what's going on there? Well, if you look at the data, you have a couple of potential outliers. 3.598 maybe. 3.987 and 4.52. And if you look at the low end of the data, you have some outliers as well. Now, keep in mind, there's one true measurement, right? This thing has one true length. So it's okay to delete some of these data points that you just don't think are accurate, right? You want to only probably keep the ones that seem pretty plausible. So I'm going to go ahead, and that's actually question 1 on our worksheet right there. Are there outlying data points that don't make sense and should be eliminated? You're going to record it there. So let's see. Where's my sheet here? So if I delete these, it's going to be pretty interesting because you can see the mean, median, mode, and standard deviation. Those are going to automatically update. Watch what happens when I delete this 4.528. There you go. All of a sudden, okay, now my mean is right where it's kind of, we would expect it to be in the 3 range. If I delete some more of these, like let's say I get rid of that 2, okay, now it's still there. Let's see, this one, should I keep it? You know what, I'm getting rid of it. And you could decide that for yourself. I did that based on kind of the standard deviation and the mean. It seemed like it was outside of the range of what I would expect. I'm also going to delete that one. Now, if you want to clean things up, you can right click and delete the row right there. Delete row, delete row, delete row. Okay, now this should help you answer question number 2. Are the mean, median, and mode equal or close? If not, which one do you think best describes the typical measurement? So are they equal? No. Are they close? Yes, they are rather close. 3.46, 3.456 for the median. Didn't calculate the mode. You can see the standard deviation there. So those will be good clues. You may want to kind of look to those when you're forming your actual answer for number 5. That's a good way to go. And then let's see. So number 3 asks us for a histogram. So let's make a histogram. What I'm going to do is I'm going to copy. I don't want my outliers, so I'm going to copy this data right here, and I'm going to pull it to another sheet. So I'm going to do a Control-C or an Edit, Copy, and then I'm going to make a new sheet right here, and I'm going to paste it in there, Control-V. Okay, now this one, I'm going to call this a histogram, and I'm going to call this one my mean, median, mode, and then this one, still my original, has every data point included. Perfect. Okay, so for the histogram, what you're going to do is you're going to highlight all of the data right here. Then you're going to go to Insert, and you're going to insert a chart. Now, so histogram is actually a recommended chart type right here. If you don't see it in the recommendations right there, it's possibly because I've used it in the past. If you go to chart types and you kind of scroll down about 4/5 of the way, you can see this one right here, and you click on it, histogram chart. There we go. So we can insert that. Now you can see our histogram. Now it's kind of exposing another potential outlying data point right there. Right? You can see, okay, where is most of the data clustered? It's mostly between 3.44 and 3.48. If you look at our mean, median, and mode, 3.46, 3.456. So that's kind of aligning with what our histogram says too. You can kind of see where these numbers come from now. You can optionally delete this. Another really cool thing you can do with your histogram is if you go to Advanced Edit by right-clicking on the chart, you go to Advanced Edit. Now here you have all kinds of good stuff that you're going to want to do. You can put in your title. You know, I don't want to waste a ton of time on the video putting in the title, but you should put in a title. You can title your axis right here. Let's see, you can title your axis right here, the horizontal axis. Then you can change that to left vertical axis. You can change that to number of measurements. There you go, and you can see it appears right there. The main thing that we want to do is change what's called the bucket size. So we talked about the bin size in class before when you're making a histogram. Just changing the bucket size is, you know, will give you more information potentially from your histogram. So right now my bucket size is set to 0.04, right? 0.04, and you can see that 3.44, 3.48, 3.52. So my bucket size is 4/100ths. I would consider making that like maybe 1/100th, and we'll just see what happens. I hope this would update, but I don't think it's going to until we click update. Then you can see, okay, now it's a little bit harder to read the numbers, but like you can really see where most of the data is clustered, right? Now you get more of a finer view of where that data actually is. You can see 7 data points are between 3.45 and 3.46. So changing your bucket size by going to advanced edit, scrolling down about halfway exactly, right there you can see the bucket size. Okay, and then what happens? Oh, if I click, yeah, all right, interesting. So there's a lot of options to play with the histogram. One thing you definitely want to do is make your titles. Okay, is there anything else we need to go through on the sheet? Oh yes, how many digits should we include? Okay, so this is probably going to be the toughest question to answer. Think about which digits you can be certain about and estimate one uncertain digit, right? Remember, in measurements, we want to have all certain digits except for the last one, which we estimate. That's our uncertain digit. The way to do that is this. So let's see. Okay, I'm just going to show you how to change the number of digits on here. So if I do this, if I go to decrease decimal places, I can see I decreased my decimal places, right? If I do it again, right there, and that's going to make my histogram, well, it didn't update my histogram, so we got 3.4 and then 3.5. Keep in mind that rounding happens, right? So if I look right here, 3.4, and then right here, it switches over to 3.45, 3.46, then I can go for my full, go all the way out to the thousandths, and then I can go out one more, it just adds a row of zeros. So there's really no point to going out past where your data actually ends, past the uncertain digit of each individual measurement. So there we go. That's how you do that. That can give you some thoughts for number 4, thinking about how many digits we can include. Finally, what you're going to want to do is try to combine all the data together. So look at your histogram, look at your mean, median, mode, and standard deviation, and ultimately make a decision. And keep in mind that I don't know how big this is, right? This is just a part that showed up in my room. I don't have the answer. So what I'm really looking for is for you to say something logical and then support it with data. Okay, so you're going to decide how big it is, and then you're going to kind of follow this graphic organizer right here to give yourself sorry, I lost my train of thought. You're going to follow this graphic organizer to state your claim and then state your evidence and reasoning. Your evidence and reasoning should come directly from the graph and the mean, median, and mode. And even just looking at the numbers and talking about them, right? So just looking and talking about these numbers right here. Okay, finally, the last thing I'm going to show you, then I'm going to end the video because we're probably going long. I'm just going to show you right here how to insert the chart into your essay when you're ready for it. So you want to go to Insert right here, and you want to do Chart, and then you want to go to From Sheets. Then you're going to find, oh wow, I have a lot. And then you're going to find your practice data right here. There's your histogram. You're just going to import it right there. You give it a second. There it goes. Okay, so you can then edit the chart. You can edit your chart in here, and when you're ready, you can pull it into your essay, use that as part of your evidence. Okay, I think I'm going to wrap up the video there. Good luck. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you soon.